Well, that was fast. The Democrats have found their new Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. But there's just one problem. The Democrats can't keep their story straight. Is Donald Trump an idiot, or is he an evil genius? Which is it, Democrats? Because you can't have it both ways. Take a look at what Adam Schiff said immediately after President Trump announced a 90-day pause on the retaliatory tariffs.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation, and are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting from it?
Absolutely. I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in? There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute. So we're going to try to find out.
There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, though, right? Should there be some other independent investigation into this?
Well, I think Congress should do an investigation into this, but we're going to demand answers from the administration. I think you're right. They're likely to stonewall, particularly if they've been engaged in corrupt insider trading. But they won't be able to hide it for good. I mean, we know who's in the administration. We can look at eventually what people are buying and selling. This will come out. But an administration that has their own meme coins and is already engaged in self-interested dealing when Elon is doging agencies that are doing oversight of his own businesses, in that kind of corrupt climate, you have to assume the worst, and we're going to try to find out.
This is just so very rich. Over the last week, we've been subject to headlines and commentary and just news about how Donald Trump is economically illiterate. He's an idiot. He's a failed businessman. He has no idea what he's doing, right? That has been what the left has been telling us this entire time, that Donald Trump is running the economy into the ground. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't say for the last week that Donald Trump's an idiot, then all of a sudden, once he changes his policy, oh, this was a grand plan all along. He's an evil genius. He's trying to enrich himself and his billionaire friends. Again, which is it, Democrats? You can't have it both ways. And the fact that the Democrats, look, they were so unhappy with the tariffs, they were so unhappy with the market melting down. You would have thought the initial reaction, if you truly were upset with what President Trump was doing, the reaction to the announcement should have been celebration. It should have been, thank you, President Trump, for listening to us, or thank you for revealing the strategy. But instead, they jumped to the worst possible conclusion. And it leads me to ask, why? You know, it makes you wonder, thou dost protest too much. Because the Democrats they're not innocent at all when it comes to insider trading or allegations of insider trading. Take a look at Nancy Pelosi and many Democrats, not just in the House, but in the Senate, and then, you know, not to mention all the state positions nationwide. So again, with all the Democrats saying this, because it's not just Adam Schiff. So what they're really honing in on is this Truth Social post that President Trump published this morning. This is a great time to buy DJT. And what Donald Trump is referring to there, DJT, is obviously his initials, Donald J. Trump. But what the Democrats are saying is, oh, this is a great time, what he was referring to, this is a great time to buy my media stock. And what they're accusing him of is two separate things which seem related, market manipulation and insider trading. This is how CNN covered it. Trump told investors to quote unquote buy hours before making his tariff pause announcement. Was that just investors? No, that was a message to the entire nation. President Trump this entire time has been trying to strengthen the resolve of the American people. Look at what he posted. Be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. He's always talked about a golden age for America. And it would be one thing, right, if we had evidence, which the Democrats don't, of Donald Trump telling his advisors and his staff to purchase stocks, right? That would certainly be insider trading. But no, this is a president communicating to the American people, hey, have faith in the American system. Have faith in what we're doing. Unfortunately, though, this is not just Adam Schiff. It's not just CNN. New Mexico Representative Melanie Stansbury retweeted that CNN article writing, was the fix in when he posted this today? Looks like insider trading to me. Not only is illegal, it has thrown our economy and markets into chaos for days. And Trump is helping out his buddies along the way. What evidence do you have that he's quote unquote helping out his buddies? Do you have knowledge that the rest of us don't know? Or are you slandering the president? Makes you wonder. It wasn't just her. Nevada Representative Stephen Horsford also said this.
Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
You're,
That's offshored,
what,
offshored all of our factories.
and what has that done? How have you achieved any of that? But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does. So if it's not market manipulation, what is it? Who's benefiting? What billionaire just got richer? And all the while, there are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the Speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people? WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure doesn't look like it's the trade representative. You just got the rug pulled out from under you.
Oh, okay. So passing the largest tax cut in American history would be screwing the American people. That's the problem right there. Just absolutely hilarious. And again, it's interesting, right? How they go from an entire week worth of content and narrative that President Trump is an idiot, President Trump is a failed businessman, President Trump has no idea what he's doing, he's crashing the economy, to all of a sudden, oh, this was his grand plan all along, he's just an evil genius. Again, point of the video, the Democrats can't have it both ways. This just proves that they are doing whatever they can to bring him down. It doesn't matter, like when President Trump spoke in front of Congress, like he said, he could announce a cure for cancer. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't applaud. They wouldn't stand up. They will never, ever give him credit. And just to really prove this point, that it's not just a few fringe Congress people here and there, here is California Representative Mike Levin.
So at 9:37 a.m., Donald Trump put on Truth Social, "This is a great time to buy," 3 exclamation points, all caps. Then a handful of hours later, he announces a 90-day pause on all tariffs that he's been threatening except for China, and he says 10% across the board. So my question is, how is this not market manipulation? If you're a Trump supporter and you did what he said and you bought, then you did great. On the other hand, if you're a retiree or a senior or somebody in the middle class over the last few days that didn't have the tolerance for risk and you decided to sell, you got screwed. So I'm curious why Donald Trump thinks that he can just post things like this on Truth Social. This is market manipulation at its worst.
Again, he posted it for the entire public. It's not like this was an exclusive to White House insiders or to a paid subscription list or anything like that. Next, the question that the representatives keep asking is, who benefits from this? Well, who benefits from this is the entire country. The whole purpose, as we now know, is that President Trump was using tariffs to force all the other countries to the negotiating table, whether it's to work out trade imbalances or just get more favorable terms. The fact that he kept the tariffs on China and, in fact, increased them to 125%, they could go even higher, proves that this isn't manipulation at all. It is very clear that this was all about China, and the fact that China now faces that 125 proves it. It's not just that, though. So they keep talking about market manipulation and insider trading. Market manipulation and insider trading have two things in common: the practice of buying or selling a company's securities based on material, non-public information. So, number one, they usually, especially when it comes to insider trading, they're talking about a specific company. Trump didn't say, hey, go buy Apple stock, go buy Amazon stock. He was just saying, now is a great time to buy. And he wasn't even talking about his own stock. Like, if you follow any of his posts, he always signs off with DJ. Again, his initials. Only the Democrats want to read into that as if he's pushing his own media company. Like, come on, get real. But he never revealed anything as far as a specific company. Usually, like with insider trading, is a company going to acquire another company? Are they going to get a new CEO and make that announcement? Are they going to announce a new smartphone lineup? Like, that is what insider trading is. When you have material specific information that no one else knows and you're giving it to them. What did Donald Trump do that qualifies as that? And then market manipulation, again, same thing. Like, it is just such a joke that the Democrats think they can get away with this and think that they should be taken seriously for all these hoaxes that they put out there time and time again. And number two, it has to be intentionally leaked to a group of people with the hopes of helping them profit from that insider information. So for this claim to be accurate, the Democrats would have to prove that Donald Trump had the intent to help enrich his friends and that this was leaked to a select group. And I don't think a Truth Social post, which is open to the entire world, which President Trump knows the media covers his every tweet. I get it's not on Twitter, but they still go after his every word. Like, it's open for everyone. Like, that is not a leak. That is not insider trading market. Like, it's crazy. And just for proof that I'm not making up the narrative, here is a segment on CNN, and this is just one clip. We've been subject to this over the last week, panic porn or panicins, as they're being called, when it comes to Trump and his tariffs. And, here they flat out call President Trump economically illiterate.
What Trump is doing is a huge opportunity for China worldwide. These tariffs are a form of economic illiteracy. Trump has no idea really what he's talking about. He doesn't understand how tariffs works. He has said as recently as a few days ago he views trade surpluses and deficits as like a profit and loss statement, which they certainly are not. So what he's doing has put us in a very vulnerable position, and probably in the worst position possible to go after the real country problem in the international trading system, which is China. Instead of taking on the country that's stolen our intellectual property for decades, among other things, by gathering our allies together, all of whom also suffer from China's intellectual property theft, and engaging in concerted action, we're at war with our largest trading partners while we're about to go to war with China as well. It simply makes no sense, and it's just sad and depressing that more Republicans haven't stood up and said that. This is illiteracy.
John Bolton, more like John Dalton. Because, right there, he flat out said, oh, Trump should be taking on our largest enemy. Well, what do you think the 125% tariff on China is when the rest of them now are paused at the baseline 10%? And paused for 90 days so that negotiations can be made. He's clearly singling out and targeting China, which is exactly what John Bolton was saying Trump wasn't doing and should do. And then to say it's economic illiteracy, again, the theme of the video, Democrats, you cannot have it both ways. You can't say someone is an idiot and then in the next breath, oh, they're an evil genius. Whoa. Well, speaking of just evil genius, evil dumbass, maybe? Let's take a look at Chuck Schumer. This is what he said immediately after President Trump announced the 90-day pause on the retaliatory tariffs, which caused the Dow to have one of its largest spikes in history.
So look, you can't undo the damage. The Trump slump is upon us now, and whatever he will try to do in the future does not undo the damage.
A Trump slump is upon us now. Meanwhile, the stocks are just way, way up today. And when you take a look at where we were last month or earlier this year, it barely a blip on the radar. And if things keep going, if President Trump is right with this negotiating tactic with the tariffs, then we truly could see, hopefully, cross fingers, a golden age ahead. Now, this is just a hilarious call from Goldman Sachs. They sent an email out to everyone, U.S. economics analyst moving to a recession baseline. And then not even 2 hours later, USA President Trump announces 90-day pause, reverting to our previous non-recession baseline. So you just gotta love that. Now, I do want to recognize today's members of the Governor's Club. Jenda Monuro, thank you so much. Houston Sammy Girl and Rayos86. I appreciate all of you so much. And Rayos86, by the way, I believe you're actually one of the people who encouraged me to thank people who super thanks and tip the channel. So just wanted to give you a special shout out. Thank you so much. And again, Governor's Club people who have supported the channel, they make videos like this possible. Well, Chuck Schumer was also approached today by a journalist, and he was asked to condemn the attacks against Tesla, and Chuck Schumer refused to do that.
Senator, what's your opinion of the violence against Tesla, their products? What are your thoughts on that? Do you denounce the violence against Tesla products and dealerships and cars in the streets?
I can't talk about Tesla, but Elon Musk is a disaster for America, and America knows it. Look at Wisconsin.
Thank you, Senator.
I think we all know that if President Trump did that, if President Trump skirted around the issue, the Democrats would be saying Donald Trump is inciting violence. Like, how hard is it to say, no, we condemn all forms of violence? That is not acceptable in a civilized society. President Trump has done that many times. He's condemned white supremacists. He's condemned violence. Like, you can go down the list. Yet Democrats do this sort of thing all the time, and they're able to get away with it. They never get any sort of pushback, which is really sad. Next, I want to talk about this IRS agent, or excuse me, one of the top IRS officials, according to Reuters, just joined the chief in quitting following immigration data deal. So apparently, the Trump administration made a deal with the IRS to give them the contact information or the addresses of illegal immigrants here in the country paying their taxes. So that way, ICE could deport them. Well, the IRS officials are now resigning as a form of protest. Number one, just a really dumb thing to do. Like, I'm going to protest, so I'm going to quit my job. And these people, by the way, a lot of them claim to be civil servants. Really, you're going to quit your civil servant job as a form of protest? This woman, by the way, who quit, specifically in the article, her entire career has been working for the federal government. She has never once held a private sector job. So take that with what you will. Second of all, how ridiculous is it that it's very difficult and in some cases frowned upon for government agencies, federal government agencies, to pass data back and forth between these different agencies? Like with the IRS, I do understand it to a degree. We don't want political persecutions on either side. For example, if a Democrat administration comes in, we don't want them using IRS data to tax Republicans or tax Trump supporters or people who worked in the Trump administration higher as a form of retribution, right? That would be wrong. But on the other hand, I do know that the IRS does investigate crimes. They investigate anything that's illegal, whether it's tax fraud, underrepresenting your earnings. Like, there are so many ways in which the IRS does go after criminals. And so it is a little crazy to me that two separate government agencies, ICE and the IRS, can't work together to enforce the law that are on the books. It just seems, I don't know, really inefficient. Last story of the day, Chris Matthews said one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard on TV.
But there's another thing. I watched on the evening news last night, one of the other networks, and I watched the issue of lumber. Now, you see, we get so much of our lumber, our 2x4s, from Canada. What's where we get it from? Canada. We get our newsprint from up there for newspapers. The fact is we get it. What are we going to do? Have more lumber made in the United States now? What is our plan now? Oh, we're not going to import wood, so we're going to make more wood? We're going to create more wood? Is that it? I don't think we are in a position to simply replicate the imports coming into this country with our own products. It can't always be done. And I think if a wood's example of that, wood. Are we going to make more wood in this country because of our trade deal? I don't think so.
Well, actually, that is the goal, and that would happen. We would make more wood. Now, according to Bloomberg, U.S. lumber industry set to end Canada's dominance as tariffs take toll. And then if you'll take a look at that second bullet point there, the first one, softwood lumber capacity has been climbing in the United States South. The South, not just the South, but the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon are huge producers of lumber. Now, look, I get that trees don't grow overnight, but guess what? Wood does grow on trees. And it might take years, but we could definitely shore up that infrastructure. The reason I think that was a dumb thing to say is because, especially coming from Matthews and then on MSNBC, is the Democrats are all about climate change. They're all about environmentalism, right? I thought that's what they were. So you would have thought that that would have been a great example. Hey, yes, let's plant more trees. And I get, yeah, we're going to cut them down, use them for lumber, but I don't know, like, the tree's great while it's doing its thing, or I don't know, maybe we plant two trees at the same time and we cut one down for lumber and we keep the other one up. I don't know. The whole thing I thought was a little ridiculous. But as always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So the new line of attack against President Donald Trump, he's an evil genius. You know, he did it to enrich his friends. Do you think prediction time here. Do you think that this will turn into the new Russia, that this is what we're going to hear about over the next few weeks? Or do you think this is just a flash in the pan? You know, they're throwing darts, trying to see what sticks, throwing spaghetti, hoping a noodle like sticks, I don't know, somewhere over there. At this point, I have no idea what is on the bingo card. This tariff situation has just proved exactly, which we all know, just how unpredictable Trump is. So I would love to know your predictions on that. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.